titan that's rising, oh just you watch. I'm stepping into fate, there is no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me, this is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. I'm cranking up on the throttle, victory is mine. Show you the harder the battle, harder I fight. I've come too far to quit, step back, I'm going in. I'm cranking up on the throttle, this is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. Like iron from the fire, getting stronger. This is how legends are made. Above it all, untouchable, a new animal. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. I've got the lightning inside me, oh just you watch. This is how legends are made. I'm like a titan that's rising, oh just you watch. This is how legends are made.
There we go. Hey, we're live. This this is what happens when you're doing live, but I'm back on. Hey guys, welcome to Friday Night Front Straps, episode number 2 here at Outlaw Raceway Park. We got a lot of things to talk about tonight. Our guest is Joel Fritz from Waverly, Nebraska. He will be our guest tonight, so have your questions ready for Joel, and he'll talk about not only him but his family that races with us out here on Saturday nights. Guys, we've got a lot of things going on. First off, the weather. It's well, breaking news is that Eagle Raceway, if you guys friends on Quarter Scale Talk or anybody outside of our viewing area, the Eagle Raceways had canceled their races tonight with Flow TV with the late models. So, because I guess they had a real bad thunderstorm rolled in. I watched some videos. There were some late models sitting out under the canopies, and it was pouring pretty good. So Eagle did cancel. So if you guys go to Flow and wonder where they're at, they have canceled. Um, as far as us for this weekend, this is something that I just dread every year. And I'm assuming a lot of promoters, whether it's 10 scale, large scale, quarter scale, whatever, just dread to try to figure out how to whether to cancel or not. Unfortunately for us, we've only get a few shows out in the summer months. And so we wanted to utilize every show we can to get out here and get people racing. And it's really hard. If it says, 80, 90% chance that the screen is green, I'd be more happier just to go ahead and cancel. But it's this pop up thunderstorms that are just popping up, especially around 4 or 5 o'clock at night. And then lightning, they had some real bad thunder and lightning, severe thunderstorm warning somewhere in south of us. So right now, right now the sun's shining, but we did have a real good downpour, and it did get the track pretty muddy. So I can't go out there and work on it right now. And of course, with the temperatures of the 90s tomorrow, I don't know what we got for a track. So right now, I'm going to probably wait till about 3 p.m. I know some guy says, "Hey, can we start earlier?" Well, the problem is if I can't get out on the track or the track is dried out because it's going to be 90 and windy, I guess. Um, and starting out at real early in the afternoon really it really puts a task on that track that dries out on top, not necessarily in the bottom, but on the top. So, fortunately for us, we have a rain date of May 30th. So if we get rained out tomorrow, we could always go to May 30th. But I just don't want to get guys out there in a bad situation where people's cars get hailed on or whatever. So I'm going to wait around 3 o'clock. Like I said, the weather stations are saying it depends on where this frontal line is sitting at and how fast moving it is and where is it going to go. Is it going to stay west? It's going to go south. Um, like they were advertising for tonight, we should be under a thunderstorm warning right now, but it's nothing's coming across. There is some supercells building out west. So I don't know, guys. We're just going to let it comment, guys, if you're on what you think, but right now we're just going to kind of let it see what happens. That's all we can do. And I don't want to cancel, but at the same time, we got May 30th to back up. Racing a couple weeks ago was really good. We had 46 cars registered. I want to thank everybody for their patience. As we had definitely computer problems. Not only the primary computer wasn't working, and it did work, I just couldn't get signed in. It would not recognize my password. But the backup computer, whatever reason, the power went out in it. And so we really struggled. And I was to the point I was about ready to cancel. And Kim Meyer, who our head scoring director, loaned us her laptop, her personal laptop, and we download Lifetime through it. We talked to Corey at Lifetime to get us all straightened out because we had to get not only the programming in it, but we had to get the A and B signed up, and we got to get a printer signed up. So it took us a while. But I want to thank everybody, their patience. I want to thank a lot of guys that came into the scoring shed and gave us ideas on what to do. But I end up going out and buying a brand new laptop. I didn't want to spend the money, but sometimes you got to spend the money to make things work right. Fortunately, the computer that I bought last year had some warranty. And so I got a little bit of money back on that, but I really didn't want to spend the money on a laptop. However, I'm glad I did because it sure makes easier sitting in the scoring shed with the laptop in front of me. And then when I can look down, see where everybody's at racing, I don't have to peek around Kim and look at the screen to the right and bother her. So I think this will work out to give us a lot more desk room. I'm actually kind of anxious to use it. Again, this is a brand new program, so there's still some stuff that we've got to get the bugs worked out of because we haven't used it yet on the track. But it did recognize the coder. The printer did recognize the printer. So I bought it from, well, they had them on sale at Sam's Club. And so I bought a Hewitt Packer. And when I talked to Corey at Lifetime, this is what they recommended for the system. What's probably nice about this, and I should have done it years ago, is I can take the computer in the house without it sitting out in the scoring shed and getting hot and baked during the summer months. I can put it away, bring it in when it's cool, and not have to worry about it. So, but we're good to go. We got an updated scoring system now, so I'm really anxious to go that route. Guys, if you're on, go into the chat and let us know where you're from or say hi. Otherwise, that's pretty much all the news. Again, I want to thank everybody for their patience. We didn't start till about 8:15. And the last race, I believe, which was, and I'm looking at the times here, the Traxxas Alosi Sprint Cars was done by just right before 11 o'clock. So we powered through it pretty quickly. Marshalling was fantastic. We had some new guys came out, some very close racing to the point where I had to look at the computer screen to see who won coming across the line, and that's what it's all about. So on that behalf, guys, we're going to bring in Joel Fritz out of Waverly, Nebraska. Let's see, we get him on. There's whoops, had him on again. Come on, there we go. Joel, you're there.
Howdy, how's it going?
In your race shop, I see.
Yeah, out in the garage.
I see that you got quite a bit of cars. Actually, you brought how many cars out?
We have
Go.
7, way too many, but it's okay.
Well, you're having fun, aren't you?
Might as well. I mean, we're there, so.
So let's get to know Joel Fritz. What's Joel Fritz all about? Let's get to know him. And so, like, where do you work? What do you do?
I was going to say,
what's your hobbies?
Where do you want to start? Where do you want to? So I teach at Waverly High School. So this coming up next week will end year 24 of doing that. So all of them have been there. Also in the JV girls basketball coach and then the head girls soccer coach. So from October to, well, we just finished soccer about a week ago. Pretty busy doing all of those things. And like I told you, pre-show here before that, in the summer, it doesn't get any slower with summer weights and camps for both basketball, soccer, summer leagues for everything. So do all of that. So yeah, so that's
how
the
many
day
years
job.
you've been teaching? How many years you've been teaching now?
24.
All in Waverly?
All in Waverly, yep.
Really? And what do you
Yep.
and what do you teach outside of coaching?
I do science. So mostly I do freshman science.
Really?
And then I got a physics class. Yeah.
Physics?
Yep.
I don't think we ever had physics. I went to school in Waverly. I graduated in 1977, so I'm dated. You can tell by the gray hair. But I don't remember ever having a physics class in Waverly.
Yeah, so we've had it the whole time I've been there. So I've been doing that the last 5-6 years, I think it has been. So yeah, and I've been doing freshman science the whole time. So.
Well, you're a proud papa because Waverly football team won the championship last year.
Yeah, they won the Class B football. So my son was a junior and played on defense mostly. They were pretty stacked offensive line and didn't need to use him. So he was on that team and played. Him and another kid basically rotated in and out. So that was fun for them. And with basketball or girls, well, prior to this year, we had 4 years in a row we made the state tournament. So
oh wow,
had some good fun with that. And
so what's a team like? What's a team like this year for football for going into the fall?
They'll be, I say, they got quite a few guys. They got a lot of experience coming back. They did have a lot of seniors that played, but quarterback's back. He actually just committed to South Dakota, I think it was. That's what I saw.
Really?
So And then they got another one that's a really good athlete. I don't know where he's going to end up going. So there's quite a bit returning this year. Just got to find those depth pieces and those young kids. That was the thing. I think last year they just had a lot of depth and
Oh
a
wow.
lot of
Yeah.
kids they can shuffle in and out, and that's huge when getting into those warm Friday nights and when you get to playing 4 extra weeks of football. So
Right. I think the last time Waverly won the Class B championship in football was in 1979,
80, yeah,
80,
80,
80.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yep.
So, and I think at that time they ran out of the wishbone. What are you guys running out
Oh
now?
yeah. Oh, they spread it out and they'll go four wide receivers. They'll bring it back in and they'll run the old Maryland eye with three running back. I mean, it's whatever. There was a game 2 years ago where they ran out of that Maryland eye for the entire game and just tried to slow the game down and not let the other team have the ball. So they'll do a lot of different things.
Well, I know we're getting off topic here, but who's that little running back? Man, he was a little lightning plug when he
He
was here.
was, Nate Axman. So he was a senior this year. So he was a workhorse.
Did he get recruited at all from anywhere?
I think he's going to Wayne State, if I remember
Wayne State.
correctly. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's get back to racing. And guys, if you're on, give us a chat. Of course, this will be all tape delayed. It'll be on my YouTube channel, also on Facebook for at least 30 days. But you have the whole family racing. You got your wife,
yeah,
Sarah, and Braxton.
yep,
I guess my question is, you come from basically a racing background.
hmm
Sarah, her dad is Jeff Silman, and I used to work on Jeff Silman's modified back in the one when I was younger. So I couldn't believe that was his daughter when she said that Jeff was her dad. So what? How'd you get from? Because you race midgets, right, at Wavelink or something?
micro sprints. I
Micros.
did for a long time. I was trying to figure out how long it was. It was forever. I started running go karts when I was 8. I did those for a few years, and then got to take a break for a few years for things. I mean, it was one of those. My dad was running micros, and if a track had go karts, he's like, "Well, if the tires are pumped up and it's full of gas, and if you break it, you're done for the night because I don't have time to fix it." And I'm like, "Okay, sounds good."
Did-
So then I ran that for 2 or 3 years, and then when I was 16, I got back into the micro. At that point, they were running 250 cc like motocross engines in them,
Mhm.
the 2 cycle ones. So I did that for probably another 2.5 years, and then the 600 started coming in, the 600 cc motors. So
Mhm.
from I think it was 98 or 97 until about 2016 is when I kind of slowed down racing. So we've been to Illinois and Missouri, Kansas, South Dakota, Iowa,
Wow.
um, racing. So we've been a lot of places. And then, like I said, my wife, her family owns S&S Welding, so they build trailers, and she drove modifieds and she drove micro sprints. We raced together,
So
and her
is
brother
how
raced
did you meet her? Did you meet her on a
at the
racetrack?
race. Yeah, at the races. Yeah. So at the track here in that was here in Waverly. I guess it's a
Sure.
flat field now.
So who's
And
better,
then,
you or her?
well, I better say she is. I think she might have beat me more. I don't know.
So how'd
So
you
then
get
she,
into this 10 scale things? I mean, it's pretty hard for a guy um, to get out of a seat where now you're standing on a scoring tower type thing with a
yeah,
steering wheel in your hand, looking at something a lot tinier than what you're normally used to.
yeah.
What made you
We
get into this sport?
well, my two oldest ones drove micros. So they started off in junior sprints, so which is basically it's kind of like a cage car, but it has the full suspension and everything, and ran up uh, through the classes that I ran. Then my oldest daughter decided to get out. My son, the oldest one that was on the football team, got too busy with sports and just didn't have time to do it anymore. So they were
Mhm.
both racing. And Braxton, we were like, "Do you want to have a race car?" And he's like, "Nope, I don't want to get hurt." And I'm like, "Okay." So
Really?
one time, well, I think it was might have been your first race last summer. I don't know, Facebook, the algorithm started throwing up the fifth and the quarter scale cars on my Facebook, and I started to see that, and then I saw your guys' track. So we came out there one night just to watch, um, and got talking to some guys, and actually Chris Zelazny was going to let Braxton drive his car, but I was like, oh, it's okay. I didn't want to worry about buying a license and all of that. I was, so, and he said he wanted to do it. And we actually had two slash trucks at that point sitting in the garage because we had bought them and we played with them in the street and all of that. So I found out, I'm like, oh, you turn that, go buy a body and do a couple other things, and we go race in circles. So that got us there. And then that's when the Traxxas late model started coming out, and the modified and the Losi sprint. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, well, there we go. So, and then Braxton likes to do it. So, I mean, like I said, he doesn't want to do the real car, but he likes to do this. And
Well, this is
so I'm
probably
like,
a
all
lot
right, we'll go
cheaper,
do
ain't
it.
it, in the long run?
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%.
So I guess
It
my
was like the other
question
day
is
when
because Sarah races, she
yeah,
races the 12T class and the late model.
yep.
She came out of the beginner class last year. How does she like racing? I guess you call it the big boys now, up the
Yeah.
upper class.
It's one of those, well, I told them both last year, I go, well, you guys get the beginner the first year. And then after that, I go, you guys are both going up. It's time to just go on. And kind of how we've done it with all the kids in the racing. It's just,
Sure.
let's jump in the deep end and go from there. Just trying to figure out the different cars. She likes her Mud Boss. She says that's her favorite one, just how it drives.
Mm-hmm.
So
But she didn't look too bad in the late model class.
yeah, it wasn't too bad. I found some things on it playing this week, so hopefully it'll be better this week. So
So can you take your micro car, your 600 Sprinter, and convert the information from that into these little things, or is it kind of different?
it's kind of different. That's the one thing I struggle with. It's like I'm not in the seat to feel what's
To
happening.
fill it.
So I'm like,
Yep.
oh yeah, because I was just a big feel guy. Even when the kids were running, there'd be times when I'm like, just tell me what it's doing, so I know what changes to make. And it's a little bit different with the suspensions on these. With the micros, it was a solid
Rear
front
axle.
axle and all of that, and the rear axle was solid. So
Hmm.
some of the things cross over, and there's some things that definitely don't.
Well, speaking of Silman, did you have a nephew running last night up in Dillon?
Yeah,
Over.
yeah, Dylan. Yeah, so that's my wife's her brother's son is running out
Mm.
there, or was last night. Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't look too bad. I mean,
No,
racing against the best. I mean, I don't
I was
know.
gonna say when.
Plus, he don't
Yeah, those
probably
guys.
has he ever raced the Eagle before? I mean, because Eagle normally don't run late
Um,
models.
just last year, when they were in town, and a few here and there. He ran modifieds for a few years, but they didn't go to Eagle a whole lot.
Right. Yeah, because I remember Jeff, I remember Rick. There was another brother that worked at the shop, and then there's
Hmm.
Robbie, who was I think he's
Yep,
the youngest boy.
I think so. Yes,
There's a whole bunch of Silmans
there's a whole bunch of them.
around. So I'm curious when you go home at night. Braxton and Sarah races with you. You're racing against them. Last year, it always tickled me a little bit, and me and Kim both laughed because as we're watching Braxton and Sarah race against each other, Sarah wasn't giving him nothing. And then
No,
Braxton didn't give her nothing. There was no love lost between the two competitors. Now they're racing against you. What's it like driving home
yeah,
from here
yeah,
to Waverly if there was an accident that kept some of you guys, maybe one of you guys, out of the feature or something?
Well, he told
Has
me,
that
I
showed
think.
its ugly head yet? Or
Well, I think I was the reason. He said he wrecked last week in a sprint car one time because I spun in front of him and he hit me, and I'm like, you didn't go around me. What are you talking about? So I was like, you got to do that. But shoot, in that second heat, he kicked my butt and Sean's butt and
Yep.
got his first heat win in the low C. And I was like, holy cow, son. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. We tell them, I go, we're not going to be easy on you. It's you either figure it out or you're not going to beat us. So
Well, it was fun to watch them last year because Sarah and Sarah did really well. I think she finished second in the beginner class. I
Yeah.
believe Kristen won the championship rink, but Sarah and Kristen was just 1 and 2 all year long.
Yeah. And it's just, like, I mean, the thing you struggle with is sometimes your eyes and your hands don't connect. So she's just figuring that out of, oh, I need the car to turn, especially on your track that's so big, going down the backstretch. Sometimes it's like, oh, I got to turn sooner than I think. Otherwise, I
Hmm.
won't get that car to go. And
Right,
just
right.
talking them through that. And
So, have you guys ever picked up an RC car prior to racing out here last year?
yeah, well, then that's like I said, we had those two. They were the slash trucks. Because we had got Braxton's older brother, Caden, a slash truck, I don't know, 5 years ago for his birthday. I think he was turning 12, so we went and bought one, and then bought a couple just other ones to bash around here.
Hmm.
And then Braxton, we got him one for his 8th birthday just to go play around. And then, like I said, last summer we found out that again the slash trucks are the Mud Boss base, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's easy. Let's go change it. And I had some RC cars growing up. Actually, I found this was about 3 years ago in my basement. I still had it. It was a Kyosho Raider
Hmm.
uh, dune buggy thing
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
I had from a long time ago. So had some here and there, but we just would go play in the street.
But
Then we
so
found a place
last
to
year
go
was
race.
actually your
So
first official oval racing in competition. Then,
yeah, yeah.
were you shocked a little bit about the competition at first, or did you just, or is it
I
just
had no
something?
idea what even to expect. I didn't know if I'd be able to go around in a circle or any of them would. And then you get lost in the rabbit hole of online stuff and YouTube videos of what to do to the cars and how you can make them better and
Right.
little tricks and tips. And so there was many nights lost. I would be like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. I got to stop watching these videos about what to do to these cars. So
I don't feel guilty because I've done the same thing. So okay, well that's pretty cool. Gosh, what was I saying? I had something on the tip of my tongue. Uh, oh man, so interested in listening to what you're saying about your racing and stuff like that. You won a couple championships last year.
yeah,
Um, um,
again, I don't know. I just one of those. We just showed up, and I was like, okay, whatever. I wasn't too worried about it, and
well, one thing
had some
about it
fun.
that I watch you on a personal side, and we'll have breaking news here coming up about you and Outlaw Raceway Park. You're very smooth. You don't to me you look like you take what the track can give you, and I think is that because of your experience in the micros where there's
Yeah,
days you're on and days you're not. Is that the same way
yeah.
with the
I was
small?
gonna say it was that way with that one. I wasn't ever one to go out there and go bang the wall down. And you know what? If the car wasn't good enough, let's just make sure it comes back so it's in one piece for the next week, and
Hmm.
we can go race. And because the old saying, if to finish first you must finish. My dad told me, I don't know how many times he told me that one when I was getting going.
Sure.
And it might
Um,
have might have stemmed from the very first time I was in a micro. I did stuff it in the turn 3 wall and was out for a month because I didn't take it easy. So
kind of taught your lesson a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of racing, you say you're talking about how big this track is for these little cars. I noticed last year that you went up to Jensen RC Speedway.
Hmm.
Okay, so you went from a track that's 25 foot wide. Basically, you hold the throttle down, you might lift a little bit in the corners to a tinier track where you're instead of running 10 in the future, they run 6. What was the shock value when you first walked in that door and saw this track or saw
It,
his track?
yeah, it's a lot different. We also went out to Grand Island a
Oh,
couple
did you?
times last summer. Yeah, so that one's a little bit bigger, but yeah, it was way different. Just well, and that's like I think I might have mentioned to you, I was like, my sprint car I had to get figured out because I undid a bunch of things that I didn't realize I didn't redo. And
Mhm.
my sprint car wouldn't stay in a straight line last week out there.
Well, I noticed you had a
That
lot
high
of
bike.
struggle.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of things I thought I undid that I didn't put back on to come out to your track. Yeah, it's just a lot different. Things happen so fast. I mean, out there you're turning 4 to 5 second laps instead. I mean, out there at your track we're going in the 8, 9 second.
Hmm.
So you got time to think, and you can kind of look ahead a little bit. I mean, you get really focused in on your car out there just because of how small it is. And then the high bite is a whole new story because
Mhm.
I don't know how many times I traction rolled my Mud Boss car out there just going, okay, I got to figure out how to either get it to turn or get off the gas and
Sure.
not let that thing flip. So yeah, it's quite a bit different. And then Grand Island, is different in itself. It's an outdoor track, so it dries out, and the Jensen one just stays tacky heavy all night
Because it's
long.
indoors. Yeah. In the
Yeah.
wintertime. Yeah. Yeah. Because well, that's one thing that, when I was racing out there, because I race large scale, and that's a beast of its own because you're so used to the cars being so huge, and then all of a sudden you got the little dinky cars, and the reaction time is so much quicker. And I struggled with it for the longest time. And even when I ran those little 1RC cars, they're even smaller yet.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and so, but it really teaches you how to control your car. And I think it transitions to the big car. And speaking of the big car, we got breaking news here. Joel Fritz will be running my quarter scale sprint car at the Dirt Nationals coming up in August. Um, Joe's going to be running that ORP car. It's been completely gone through, rebuilt. Joe, what do you think? You're taking on a different beast here.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what that's like. I mean, originally when we got into this, that's what I thought I would do, and then they kind of slowed down a little bit around here, and then 10 scale took off. So it'll be
Sure.
fun. It'll be fun. It'll be way different.
Well, it's a
Uh,
solid axle on front and rear. It's
yeah, I
kind
was
of
gonna say it'll go back to some of the things that I
yep.
know a little bit more about, and things like that, and it'll be interesting because I think lap times, just kind of looking at things in the board, I don't think they're that much different from our 10 scale stuff to
You have to
those.
run. Let's see if I remember right. You have to run into 7.2 to 7.3 seconds to be competitive.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's pretty fast for a big quarter scale
yeah.
car that weighs almost 28 pounds. You taking a
Because I think
7 second lap, um, that big, and we don't run 10. We do run 10 in the feature on Friday nights, and Saturday nights we will run 10. So, and I've always told people, if you look at the quarter scale dirt nationals and you got 10 quarter scales out there, you figure the average car out there is 3,000 to 3,500 bucks new,
yeah,
and you take that times 10, there's $30,000 sitting on that track. And you can't drive it like a typical 10 scale where if I run you over, it's only plastic.
right.
These cars, it'll take a lot of abuse, but you don't want to do that. Because I know when I get into a situation and I hit somebody in the front end, car's fine, but something changes. The caster, the
Hmm.
camber, something moves, something changes, and that car is just totally different, especially when you're running a 60 lap A main. So
Yeah,
um, you got to
yeah.
keep
So
it
it'll be
pretty.
different. It'll be fun. Just to see how they handle different, and I mean, I'm sure there'll be some things. So hopefully get a
Well,
few laps with it this
don't.
summer, and
Yeah, I mean, ask questions. A lot of guys in the quarter scale market does share information pretty good. And I'll tell you what I've got. But here's the deal, and I always told people when Joel's racing my car, he's the driver. If he needs a setup change or a spring change, do it. I'm not because you're the ones driving, not me. So, and hey, if you win, you win. If you don't, at least you get to see my car on the track for because I've never ran the quarter scale nationals out there except one year, and that was in the 305 class. And and I only ran it up till Saturday because it was so busy. I didn't have time to race it myself.
Yeah.
So, but I appreciate you coming on board. The pay is not very good.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll
Well, if
find a
you
way
win
around
the
that one.
nationals, you get a nice big trophy. I'll let you have the trophy.
Okay,
But I
can
want
add
that
that to the.
freaking jacket. They give out a real nice championship jacket, and I was really close at the asphalt nationals down in Texas, and my right rear tire fell off. This was on the stock car, and I thought, man, if I could just finish ahead of this guy, I might get that jacket. It's kind of a coveted thing that a lot of guys want after the
Mhm.
nationals, but you can have the trophy. And
Okay, sounds good.
so, anyway, any other news in your race team coming up?
Nothing crazy. We just got, like you said, watching the weather. Braxton's got a soccer game tomorrow afternoon, so when we get done with that, we load up, head home, and get out there to hopefully that weather holds out. And
So, what do you think of the weather? What's your opinion on that?
I don't know, it keeps changing so much of time frames and when it might start, when it might not.
Well, I
I
watched it
looked
this
right before you
morning.
started.
Yeah, I watched. I had to go to work. I had to work at Yant for the last 3 days, so I was at work this morning, and I was watching the weather. And they said by 5 o'clock it's all coming in. We're gonna wind and hail, and I thought, oh boy, I want to get my truck home and get it in the garage. And nothing happened. I went out, and of course I pulled in the driveway, and it was water everywhere. So it got rained. So I just don't know how to pull this off. Oh, radio warnings going off in the background. Do you hear it?
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, that's my thunderstorm warning somewhere or tornado warning or something. So, hey guys, if you're on, if you got a question for Joel or myself, or get on the chat. I don't see nobody in the chat tonight. Um, yeah, I don't see nobody in the chat. Joe, we got. I'm trying to think. There was a couple other things I was going to ask you about. So, do you like the rules that we currently have with where you don't do a lot to it on these cars, where you keep the pocketbook away? I guess.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I mean, that's the one thing that, when we left the micros, um, the cost and just the amount of money that was going into them was just getting crazy. I mean, I remember I said, well, this was 15, maybe 18 years ago. I said, if I ever needed a laptop to run my micro, I was going to quit. And then the last 5 years, I had a laptop to hook up to the micro to check all the sensors. And,
Yeah.
we had air fuel sensor to get it all. I mean, it had Engler mechanical fuel injection on it. So we are changing pills and all of that. I'm like, had the air density gauge out there to see what the air was doing and all of that stuff. So I mean, by the end, I had all those things. I'm like, oh gosh, if I have to do it, I'm not going to. I mean, you're spending $5,000 to $6,000 on just data acquisition system for those cars,
mm,
and that's
and
not. I mean, motors. That's
pay
not
out
even a
what, a
motor or
thousand
anything.
thousand to win.
Oh, not on a weekly one. It might be 200. It might be 200 on a weekly show.
Really?
Yeah, no, it wasn't anything. I mean, yeah, it's crazy the things that are happening with motors. I mean, motors they were anywhere from 7 to 8,000,
Hmm.
and that's, I mean, like I said, that's not even putting an injection or a header or wiring or any of that stuff on it. So,
Well, the first time
I,
I saw a computer was in a guy's trailer, and you probably know the guy's Boston.
yep,
And I walked by because we were racing cage karts at Waverly. We raced at I-80 on Friday night, and then went to Waverly
okay,
on
yeah,
Sunday.
yep,
And so I was walking by because we were done. I don't know, we're done with our heat race, and I was just messing around, walking around. And I looked at this guy, and he had this computer set up on his hood of his car, and just, and I thought, well, what are they doing with a computer in one of these things, And I didn't realize until you mentioned that, yeah, it's all about data and and things like that. What was your car number back then? Was it still the 30?
Mine was 62. Sarah's was 33 when she raced. And then Braxton, I don't know how he randomly came up with 37. I'm not sure where that came. When I was getting ready to make graphics and print things up, I'm like, what number do you want? And that's finally the one he repeated more than one time. And I'm like, okay, we're going with it.
Oh, wow.
And then my micros were always red. So that's why this year I went back and all three of my cars out there this year are red.
Well, I was
Sarah's
wondering
were
where'd you
always
get the
orange.
color? How'd you get your color scheme? What made you choose
Yeah.
red over? And that's because of your
Yeah.
micro background.
Yeah, I've had a red race car since it. I mean, here we go. This sounds bad. Since 1998, my race cars have always been red. And then, like I said, she's always had orange ones. So kind of got back to all of the things that we did in the past.
Did you ever want to get into a late model or a modified or something?
No, I didn't have I mean, sprint cars were kind of an idea, but it was also, you knew if you went and wrecked one of those, we may not be racing for a long while. And the micros were big enough around here. We had tracks that we could drive 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and race every weekend, if not twice a weekend. So it worked out, and we had a lot of parts for it, and so we just kept doing that, and had a couple opportunities, just never. The only stock car thing that I drove one time, actually, I don't know, I want to say if I drove it. I was the gas pedal guy on a cruiser, and then Sarah was actually the steering wheel and the
Oh,
brake.
really? One of those deals?
Yeah, so we did one of those deals, and I just said, I'm flooring it, so you better figure out how to turn it, and I'm not lifting. So
Oh, that's neat. That's neat. So the tire bill on those are probably a lot more expensive than these little 10 scale cars then.
yeah, they were. When we got done, I think a right rear for the micro was pushing 270, 280. For a right rear and left rears, I don't know what they cost now, but I know it was getting up there. Like when we came out to look at cars, some guys were telling me, how much stuff cost, and oh, it's kind of expensive, and I went, oh no, this is not expensive compared to what I'm used to doing, buying alcohol that's $4 or $5 a gallon, and
Sure.
all of that. So I'm like, I could do this all day long.
So on the Traxxas modified or late model, what's the biggest expense that you have as far as what breaks, or what's the biggest expense? It seems like you have
Knock
to.
on wood. Knock on wood. Those two cars haven't broke a thing yet.
Nothing.
We haven't broke a thing. The only thing that we got expense wise is just getting different batteries and playing the battery game and what's the best one, and doing that. So I mean, hopefully it doesn't bring me bad luck and we go wreck that. And then honestly, I think Braxton bent a shock on his mud boss. He did break the A arm. He broke an A arm on his sprint car last week, so I had to order that.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, so I don't know. We put the different ball cups on it, so I don't know if those not popping off caused that A arm to decide that's the
Really?
part
I didn't
that's
know.
going
I
to
didn't know
break.
that he broke it in the feature then, or
Yeah. So when he pulled off, he broke that A arm. So I finally got those parts in Tuesday, I think, is when they showed up, because they're hard to find some parts for that some places. So
really,
so if I
the
yeah,
low stick
there's
parts are hard to find.
yeah, some of them are.
I'll be darned.
I
I didn't
think
think they would be. Did you try like Hobbytown in Lincoln, or?
I think I checked their website. I don't know if they had any, but I ended up finding some and getting some, and
You bought extra ones
and
then, just in case?
yes, yep, got extra ones, and it was going to be one of those again. I don't care if I race or not. If my car was going and his was broken, I was going to let him drive mine on Saturday just so he can keep going. And
Sure. Yeah.
but luckily it all came in. So no, we haven't broke a lot of stuff, to be honest. It's been pretty easy. And
So what's the hardest part about this track when you versus like you're up in Jensen or Grand Island? This track is, of course, a lot bigger and wider and probably a little bit rougher because it's just, what's the hardest part Going in, coming out, middle,
I
straightaways.
think for me personally, is going into turn three is just that visual of the car, the direction it's going, and when to turn in, and I mean, I'm constantly have to tell myself turn it early to get
Mhm.
it to do what I want when I want. And then when you get those windy nights, when you have the real slick parts of the track, and then there's parts with some grip and parts that are slick, just getting through those. And
Sure.
there's been a few nights with the low C car. It's just I'm not even half throttle in the corners because it just wants to spin out. And it's just like, oh, keep it straight and
Really.
let's go. So
What's the easiest car to drive then? If you because you run the late
the Mud
model, the Mud
Boss,
Boss is Mud Boss is easier.
yeah,
Is that because of the tires? Probably it's more
I
got
think
more
so.
aggressive tread.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think there's also with mine on the advanced one, you got all the tuning options with the shock limiters and things like that, so you can do some things to make it turn a little bit more. The modified's pretty fun now. I got that thing going pretty well. So
Sure, sure.
the sprint car,
Well,
the low C sprint car, is almost to the point where it's almost too slow. It just doesn't have enough get up. It just takes a long time, and
really,
yeah, it's not near as fast. It doesn't seem near as fast as the other two.
wow. Well, we got the A main results, and you guys are going to be in this, and I'll go through it real quick from 2 weeks ago. We started out with a new class. It's the novice A main or novice class. Basically, it's kind of anything type goes car, bringing young kids out, brand new people who have limited experience. Brexton Bryan won, followed by Chuck Steuben. I think he's a brand new guy running one of
Yep,
uh,
actually, he ran micro. His family ran micros, so I know him from Waverly days. So
oh,
I've
really?
known him for 20+ years. So when he showed up, I'm like, wait a minute, I know
Well,
you.
speaking of micros, what happened to the Stevensons? I figured Adam and the kids would be coming out
I heard
racing
they
like
had
this.
some. Yeah.
He has like 3 or 4 of them between them.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him for a while.
They were talking about coming out, and then Ashley Bryan, who's another one, finished third. Then you got the beginner class, which is basically beginner mud boss. Braxton was first, and Marty Campbell. Now you think Marty is a male? No, she's a female, and she did really well for the first time. She was only actually 1 lap down for first time being in an RC car, so she did really well. And then we got the mud 12T. This is where Sarah runs it and Braxton runs it. Nick Bryan won it. Sarah finished second. Dustin Hoffman third, and Braxton Fritz fourth. I I thought Sarah was going to go. I thought she was going to run into the advanced class, but she chose the 12T
No,
instead.
no, when we got the 12T going, I was like, we're gonna put those two in that, and then I'll go run the advanced, so we don't have all kinds of classes we run together.
Because they're a little bit. They're actually from what the Mud Boss is. I'm trying to look at the times here. The Mud Bosses run around 8 to 9 seconds, and the 12T is around 9 seconds. Nothing below the eight. Of
Yeah, I
course, the
think they
track
were about
was.
a half a second
Yeah,
slower, I
yeah.
think is what they were.
And then you get into the Mud Boss Advance, and this is where you're in it, I believe.
Yeah.
Sean Rink was number one. Shannon Rink two, father and son. And we got, and that's really super cool to see father and sons out there and see actually seeing the families race. You finished third. Your fastest time was an 8.7, and I think Shannon had a 8.632.
Yeah. I think by the feature, it slowed down quite a bit by the feature time.
And you were 1 lap down, unfortunately.
Yeah. Sean was on a whole nother world on
Well, he
Saturday
was
with
that
his.
way in the Ironman 100 last year. My
Yeah.
gosh, that Mud Boss was just quick, and so, and then Jerry Carter was fourth, Nick Bryan fifth, Aiden was sixth, and Wayne Thomas rounds out the top seven. And then we get into the dedicated cars. Tracks is modified. You're in the modified also. Shannon Rink won that, followed by Tyler Brown, a brand new driver. He finished a nice second. You finished third. I think your fast lap was 9.178. Tyler Brown was 9.170. And Shannon was 9.081. So you guys weren't too far from each other. Very competitive. But you were also one lap down on that too. What happened there?
Yeah, I flipped. I got caught. I think I was leading and caught a lapper going down the backstretch and ended up backwards and then spun it around and ended up upside down with about 2 to go.
Oh, wow. That's
or 3 to go.
Yeah,
It
well,
was at the end.
Well, in the heat races, you were TQ'd in those, so you were the fastest in the heat races. Dustin
Yeah.
Hoffman fourth, Shane Rakel, another brand new driver, was fifth. Jerry Carter was sixth. Dennis Campbell seventh. Another new driver, Rick Feldman, was eighth. Aiden Stiefer, he's kind of new. He raced with us at the Mud Boss, was ninth. So, and then of course I finished 10th because I just forgot. I had so much going on with the computers, I never got my batteries charged. So. Then you get into the low seat sprint cars, which I think you're in this one too, and along with Braxton. Is Sarah ever going to think about getting a sprint car?
I don't know. She's a late model modified person.
That goes
I'm
back
the sprint
to
car guy. Yeah, that goes back to her dad running
dad.
and all of that.
Yep.
And I'm the
Shannon,
sprint car guy, so I don't know. And she says they're so squirrely. She goes, I don't know if I want to drive one of those.
really? You think with
Yeah.
the top wing, they're not that squirrely?
They are much like just dirtier than any of the other cars.
Oh wow. Shannon Rink was number one. Mike Moorhead, another brand new driver, is second. He looked really good for a first time out. Sean Rink was third. Dustin Hoffman fourth. Dennis Campbell was fifth. And then, of course, there you are, Joe, was sixth. And you must have had a lot of problems because you only had 21 laps out of 30.
Yeah, I couldn't keep it straight. Like I said, I had some things I did to it at Jensen that I forgot about, and to get it to turn there did not help me out there. So hopefully this week it'll be a little bit better.
Wayne Thomas seventh, and then you got Braxton. That's probably when he broke his A-arm because he finished ninth.
Yeah.
In the Traxxas late model division, Jerry Carter won it, followed by Sean, and then Dustin Hoffman, Rob Campbell, another new guy, Tyler Brown, another new guy. And look at there, Sarah Fritz finished 6 out of 10 cars. That's not bad for first time in that late model.
Yeah, and especially, it was really loose and spinning out. Like you said, it just kept it straight and let everybody else mess up. And
yeah, because Shane got 7th, Dennis 8th, Rick Philman 9th, and I got 10th. So, but it was really good racing, guys. I appreciate everybody's I really appreciate everybody's patience. So, Robert got here. We have 2 Hobbytown gift certificates given away. And of course, Joel, you were the main winner last year.
I got a few of them.
Yeah, so we're giving 2 away this year in cooperation with Hobbytown. I got to go this way, my camera. But they're $10, and one we give away for the winners of the feature. Basically, we do a drawing out of all the classes, and then we do another drawing where I will do it on a kind of a little wheel. I got everybody's names in there, and then we'll spin it. So, and then you'll win it. I'll get your name on it here. So let's go. Oh, let's see here. This is what the wheel looks like. And this will do it every weekend. We'll just insert the
one of my boys has GTA 6 releasing in the next 2 months.
It went to commercial.
You ever heard of Cowsheet? No, what is that?
Now I can't get out of it.
We can pretty much make predictions on any.
I hate it when they go into a commercial and you can't skip. Okay, so we're going to do a Hobbytown drawing. This is it right here. And I'm going to spin it. And the winner is Michael Moorhead. It looked like it was going to stop on Braxton, but it just turned one over.
I was
So
gonna say,
Michael
hope.
Moorhead, I don't know if you can see it. You will get a $10 gift certificate if you come out tomorrow. I'll put your name down real quick. And we'll do this throughout the entire summer. And then, of course, when we have our pit meeting, we'll draw for who the winners are only one that's going to qualify into the drawing for the Hobbytown gift certificate. So, anything else you want to talk about going into this weekend if we get a race in?
Yeah, no, nothing that I can think of.
Okay. Well, I want to do real quick. It's a kind of a fire off question for know our guests, quick questions for our guests. And just kind of top of your head, what do you think? First question, cake or
Okay.
pie? Which would you choose?
Pie.
Pie. How about beef or pork?
Beef.
When it comes like a beef steak, pork chops.
Steak, brisket, anything
Oh, you're
like that.
you're a beef
See that? I
man.
guess that's getting tough because I do like pulled pork and ribs. Okay, I've went down another rabbit hole there.
That's what we're all about, is put you down in the rabbit hole. Okay, spring, fall, winter, or summer, which one do you like the best?
Winter because it's cool.
You like winter?
Yeah, there's no more spring. It went away anyway.
Oh, here's one
It
for you.
goes from winter to summer.
Football or basketball? Whether it's high
Oh,
school, pro, or college.
oh, geez. Basketball.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's another question. On your phone, Apple or Android?
Apple.
Apple. And the last two questions are kind of a serious question. I hope you get an honest answer out of you.
Okay.
What is the best piece of advice you can give to a new racer coming here, either at this track or any other tracks? What's your advice to somebody?
Well, don't be afraid to go ask people questions. And just because, most of the time, people are willing to tell you as much as, everything that they need to know. When I went out to Grand Island, we got done the first night, and it's somebody I kind of knew, and they said, "Come here, I'll tell you what to do to your car to help you out." So, go find somebody, and then, just talk with people. Like I said, with Sean and Shannon, we talked so much out there in the night of things that we're doing and what's going on, and how we're trying to make our cars better. Most of the time, people are willing to help, and then again, just being patient out there. Like I, mentioned, I don't know, it was a while ago in this, but it's just if you don't finish, you're not going to be first.
Sure.
So you gotta make it to that finish line first, and that goes for real race cars or this car. And
Sure.
if you're spinning and flipping and in the back, on your lid, you're not going to be towards the front.
So the other question is, what's the best advice you received as a racer, whether it's your mini sprint, your micro, your RC cars? What's the best advice that you got that kind of carried around? Any comments or quotes or something?
Well, I think I told Braxton this many times, the old slow down to go fast type of thing. Because I think there's times when he just tries to drive that car too fast and too hard, and then washes up the track, and things don't work out. So sometimes when you slow down and just take your time, I think I finally got that beat into his head when we were out at Jensen the last time we raced there. He made a little alphabet soup run in his Losi sprint car. He went from what was it? Was it the E or the D all the way to the B? And just, he's finally being patient and letting people mess up and pass them. And I'm like, see, you didn't have to go crazy fast. You just let people make mistakes.
So who's your race hero, real quick?
Oh, gosh. I think a lot of those
and it
guys,
doesn't have to be RC. It could be NASCAR.
I was lucky enough. Where I grew up was 45 minutes from Belleville, and when the midget nationals were having 80 cars and 70 and 60 cars, so you got to see Tony Stewart when he was in his young days, and honestly, like the Jeff Gordon and even Ryan Newman type that came up through that. Just I got to watch them when they were young at Belleville on that big old track. And
Mm,
so I think any of those guys that came out of the dirt stuff and, went up and,
sure.
had success, kind of liked watching them. So,
So, what's your best advice that you received from somebody like your dad, or do you remember anybody that ever walked up
oh,
to you and when you were in
I
your
think it
younger
goes
days?
back. I think it's those two things about just sometimes you got to slow down to go fast. And
Sure,
you know what, if you can't finish, then you're going to be in big trouble. So
sure,
you gotta be there at the end to be able to win it. If you got a broken car, you're going to have no chance. So
right.
I tried not to tear up equipment in the real race car. And when it did happen, it was one of those, okay, well, you don't do it often. So
Sure. Well, guys, we want to thank Joel coming on. We've kind of went past our hour limit here, but I want to thank him for coming on. And Joe, I really appreciate you guys coming out here and racing on Saturday night. I know there's probably other things that you can probably do besides
yeah,
standing out there in the wind and the cold sometimes and the heat and the bugs and just to race little 10 scale RC cars. So I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we can get your wife or your kid on next time, sometime down the road. And guys, if you want to join us on these shows, we're always looking for guest host or guest drivers to come on to learn a little bit about the drivers that compete here at Outlaw Raceway Park. So Joe, thank you for coming on. I'm hoping we
yep,
get to
no
see you
problem.
tomorrow night.
All right, sounds
Um,
good.
and we'll see you later. And I hope I can have
Okay.
you on right before the Nationals, because this is something that it's brand new to you, and it's going to be brand new to me because I won't be able to have hands on that car.
Yeah, yeah.
So I appreciate you coming on, Joe, and
Okay,
we'll
sounds good.
sign you off. So any last words before you go?
Nope, just hope that darn rain stays away tomorrow so we can go play.
There you go. All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye. Guys, that was Joel Fritz out of Waverly, Nebraska. He pilots not only a modified and sprint car and a lot of 10 scales, and he's going to be piloting the 4X ORP quarter scale sprinter for me at the Dirt Nationals coming in August. Also, guys, next Thursday we're going to have quarter scale today on. Todd Holloway is probably working on a guess as we speak. So tune in next Thursday at 6 p.m. Probably 6 p.m. from what I understand. So tune in on the quarter scale. Appreciate everybody coming on. Again, the weather is a question mark. I'm going to hold off till about 3. We're going to see what kind of rain we get tonight. If it gets to the point where it floods the track, and the track's pretty soft when I walked out there, so and we could use the moisture. We haven't had a lot of rain. We haven't had a lot of snow. And the track was really in not the best shape 2 weeks ago because just couldn't get the moisture in. But the rain's going to help. But we'll see what happens. And tomorrow, again, if we can't get the racing in, we'll probably go May 30th, same time, 5 to 6, drivers meeting at 6:45, racing at 7. So from here, from Outlaw Raceway Park, Michael Moore, I've got your gift certificate. We'll get that. If you're not watching, that's fine, but we'll get that out to you. So live from Outlaw Raceway Park, we are signing off.